Hello and good afternoon. I'm sorry for the noise that's happening right now. I've just decided to print another photo. What I've decided we're going to do today is we're going to do a little bit of scrapbooking. I've had a scrapbooking kit here for quite a while that I have been meaning to use, and I have some photos that I want to use of my son. So I thought, why not today, as we're heading into a scrapbooking weekend. Some of you may have been doing the retreat. I ended up not doing it, but we're going to have a little bit of fun right now. So I'm just going through my phone to make sure I don't have any others that I want to add into here. So bear with me one second. I hope you've all had a good week. I'm actually going through and finding some photos off my son's Facebook page too. But yeah, I hope you've had a great week. I certainly have. It's been quite interesting so far with some of the things that have been happening. Just bear with me. I'm sorry about this. I was hoping to have this done. We've just been thrown a little bit of a tipsy-turvy because our family are going to a funeral next week, and I've been searching around for, get me rid of that sound, searching around for scout scarves to wear. So it's sort of been doing that instead of something that I should have else been doing. So what have you guys been up to? Please share while I'm sort of here chatting away to myself. Looking at these photos. I'm just trying to find, that's probably one that I want. There we go. Let me save that one and very quickly print this photo up. It's the handy thing when you've got a selfie here at home and you can print your own photos. So I'm trying to just get those done, and then I can show you exactly what we will be doing. Trying to find some of the photos of my son living his best life. Hello, Joan. How are you? Now, I hope you all enjoyed my live last week, and I don't know whether you saw my just checking this to make sure this is going to start printing for me. Yes. I ended up after my live making 3 card kits. So I've got the card kits with the written tutorial, and they're $15 for the card that we made last week. So everything's been pre-cut for you. Let me just grab it here and show you. So I've got, let me turn this down so you can actually see what's here, except you don't need to see my printing. Let me see if I can move that without disturbing that too much out of the road. So what I've created here is 3 kits from the card I made the other day. So I have got here for you a written tutorial with 2 pages with all the instructions, so you can go and make these again with other product or with similar product. I have cut and scored the card base for you, so it's all, whoops, right way around. So it's all there ready to go, and I have cut all the pieces of designer series paper that you need, and I have die cut all the embellishments as well. So all you need left to do, put this together, is some ink so you can colour in your mushrooms, a sentiment of your choice plus the ink to stamp your sentiment in, and some glue to put it all together. So if you are interested in that particular kit, I only made 3 because I'm just testing this out to see what the interest is like. Because over the years I have had people asking me, do I make a kit? So I've only made 3 just to see, and plus that was all the paper I had left over from that particular card design. And they're $15. That's including your postage. So that's here in Australia. So if you're interested in that, I do have that. Another thing that I am working on at the moment, and I'm hoping to have this up for you later on today, I have rehashed my blends chart. And as you can see, I've been going through and adding all my colours, and you can see here all the white ones are ones that I need to either replace or to purchase. But this is just a really great way of keeping track of what you've got. And as I said, I'm also keeping, as I'm colouring each section in, I'm finding that some of them have dried out. So like the cherry cobbler here, my light has dried out. So I need to replace that combo. So I can see straight away from here I need to do that. So I'm going to pop this up on my Facebook page, and probably will eventually go up on my blog as well. So you just need to let me know if you want me to send you a copy of that as well. Now, our new catalogue is starting, today is the 1st. We're the 1st of the month. So let me just grab the new catalogue. It starts, it says May to August, but I don't think it actually starts today. I think it starts on the 5th of May, so I can't still show you this as yet. But, of course, if you are wanting a copy of this, please let me know, because I'm not ordering any of these in as such. I will only order them in as I need them. So if I get a few people that want them, I will order some in for you. Let me just get rid of my selfie here. I've finished my printing. Oops, that's not wanting to come out. There we go. Switch that off, and I pop it away, then it's put away and I don't have to worry about it. So that's there. Okay. So that starts in a couple of days' time. Hello, Leslie. Hello, Lorraine. Thank you all for joining me. So please let me know. I will be posting up the links once this goes live to the digital. So if anyone wants to have a look at the digital, and also you will be able to go and access that from our Stamping Up page as well. What else do we have happening? We've got a sale happening. I think it's starting tomorrow. I haven't printed up the flyer on it as yet. But there's going to be 20% off some. It's only a 24-hour sale on some scrapbooking products. So if you're interested in that, please be quick, jump in and get what you're after. I'm already putting a list aside for myself. But as I said, it's only selected items. And I think that's all I've got at the moment that I can remember. So let's start with this scrapbooking. So let me show you what we're going to be looking at. I've got stuff all over the place here. So I'm looking at the Exploring Nature scrapbooking workshop. And with these workshops, you get everything you need to put together 3 double scrapbook pages. So I'm only looking at one today, and I'm actually looking at this one here at the top, the first one. So everything is in here. Now, this is the printout that comes with the workshop, and it tells you everything in here you need to cut. I do advise you, if you've never done one of these before, is to cut out for all 3 layouts all at once. And then break them up into each individual page, so everything you need for each individual page. So you could get a snap-lock bag, which is a 12 by 12, and put everything you need, including even your photos, into that bag for that layout. I have only just today cut what I needed, just for the fact that I was just doing this quite quickly, but I know what I'm doing. But if you haven't done one of these before, because it can be a little bit confusing. Like, for example, this particular one here, not that this is really confusing, it's just a little bit. And I even had to look at it twice to make sure I was doing it right. But they gave us 2 sheets of cardstock, both exactly the same. It tells you here what orientation you need. If it's got the asterisks, you're using the back on this one here. And if it doesn't have an asterisk, then you're using the front. It actually tells you where to cut. But in this particular layout, we have got this particular paper here goes right across the centre here. So what they've done is they've cut one piece off one sheet and the other piece off on the other sheet, and they've numbered it which one's which. So don't just go ahead and go, okay, I need 2 4-inch pieces. I'll cut them all off out of one sheet, because if you do that, then you won't get these pieces out. You've got 2 sheets, but you still need to cut one off one sheet and one off the other. And they've told you in what position you need to cut them as well. And that's so then the design of the paper and everything can still continue to flow. So it's a good way of learning about scrapbooking by using one of these kits, but follow the instructions through step by step. And as I said, I do recommend that you cut everything out all at once. So let's have a look what I've got here. I've got a mess. That's what I have got. Excuse me, I have still got my bad cough, so please, if I go into a bit of a coughing frenzy, I do apologise now. So with this particular layout, it tells us down the bottom here, because I'm doing project 1, that I need 5 3x3 photos. And it tells you on project 2, you need 3 3x3, you need 1 3x4, and 1 4x6, 1 4x6. And it tells you here whether it's a portrait or a landscape. But for what I'm doing in project 1, I need 5 3x3. So I've changed things up just a very small tad. And there's a reason for that, and I'm not quite sure yet whether it's going to all happen. So we'll get to that when we get to it. So I've pre-cut all my cardstock. So it told me here that I needed to cut those 2 strips. Now these are the 2 that, as I said, one came from one sheet and the one came from another sheet. And that's so then I suppose they're going to go on the page this way. But you've got a similar design going right across, okay? I don't know whether you can see it. You've got a darker end at this end and you've got a more of a muted towards the other. But you've got a similar design at either end. So that's those 2 pieces. Then it told me I needed, in the Pretty Peacock, to cut these 2 pieces. And I've numbered each one so I know which one I've got. They were both exactly the same. And then also I needed 2 pieces cut in the Secret Sea. So that's all my cardstock there, all cut. I also have from this 2 pieces of designer series paper. That is, these ones here are one-sided, because these ones here are exclusive to the kit, and that's going to go on it as well. I've pulled out all the die cuts. Now the beauty of the die cuts is when you get a die cut sheet, on the back of your die cuts it actually tells you which project you're using. So I've gone through and I've already pre-cut or pre-pulled out all the pieces for project 1, because that's what we're going to work on. Now it doesn't mean that you have to put what's on project 1 onto project 1, but don't need those, they're scraps. There's another piece there, but it is advisable, if you haven't done this before, to start off doing what they've instructed you to do. Now this is the part I'm playing with at the moment, because I don't know whether I want to use this piece here, but I need this point, the edge of it. So I've pre-printed all my photos, and I also had to cut some willow white and my photos are 3x3, and I had to cut some willow white into 3 1/4 squares. So I've done that. Now it also comes with place cards. Now these are cut to the same size of your photo. If you wanted to, you could probably cut your photo down just a little bit more, so then you could use those place cards as your matting. But it is a little bit lighter, and as I'm keeping my photos a 3x3, I couldn't use these. So I'm keeping those and popping them back into the bag later, and maybe I might use them for another project. But they're really good if you haven't already worked out what photos you want to put onto your layout. You can adhere those down, even if lightly, and then later on put a photo on top of it. Now, I've still, because I've changed my mind in a couple of things that I'm thinking of doing, because these are photos of my son, I still have 2 more photos here that I need to trim down. So I've printed them on my selfie at a 3x3. And now I'm just going to trim these down. I'm not keeping a white border around it. And I'm just going to trim these down to my 3x3. So I'm just making sure that I'm cutting right on that print line, because I want all these photos to be uniformed, and I want them all at 3.3. Or 3, sorry, not 3.3, 3x3. Oh dear, I'll be glad to get my voice back. It's the one thing about having this thing and taking Ventolin. I lose my voice and then I sound like I'm going hoarse. So I've got one more. So this layout here, because it is all about nature, it's all about enjoying adventures in life. My son has taken up, in the last few years, taken up motorbike riding, and he has got a regular bike, road bike, but he's also got a trail bike. I think he owns about 3 or 4 bikes now. And so I've just got lots of photos of him here doing different things at different events on his bike. He's even gone and done a little bit of drag racing in the last month or so on his bike. I'm glad sometimes he doesn't tell me about these things until after he's done it. Now, this photo here, I've cut a little bit a different size to the 3x3 because I've cut this one here. So then if I decide I'm going to not do my journaling, that photo can fit on there, because this layout, as I said before, takes 5 3x3s. But I might use this one here as my 6th photo. But we'll see how we go, because I've got 2 extra to throw in. So I'm just putting these onto mats, and I'm using my snail for that. So I'm just trying to have a look. They're 2 different days. That's the same day as that one. I can tell by the clothes that he's wearing which one is which. So I'm just going to pop a little bit of seal on the back of this. I was going to try to have this done before I came live, and I'm just layering that up in the middle. So who else here does scrapbooking? Yeah, Anita. Oh, Aaron has only had 1 accident so far. Well, as far as I know. He and his mates went dirt riding out at Lithgow a couple of years ago now, I think. And where he lives in Sydney is not far from, whoops, I got that on crooked. It doesn't want to, now it's going all funny for me. Let me just concentrate on this. Yeah, he went dirt riding with a group of friends at Lithgow. Thankfully, he went with friends, because while he was out there, he came off his bike. And so that's that one. Those 2 go together. So I'm definitely thinking of wanting at least one of those. I want that one. Got 2 of that. I need to have at least one of these ones on now. Yeah, and broke his ankle. But him being him, didn't get himself to Lithgow Hospital, did he? He actually then decided that, no, he doesn't need to go to Lithgow Hospital. His mates helped him put the motorbike on the back of the ute, and he drove the ute all the way back to Sydney, because there was a hospital just near where he worked, where he lived. So ended up having to have an operation and a pin put into his ankle, but, hey. Now, I still haven't mounted these two, and I may need to cut some more willow white for that. I'm only needing 6 photos, but I haven't really worked out which ones I want. So what I might do is pop these now all to one side. That one there is going to probably be my 6th photo, and we'll work out how we're going to layer this in a moment. Now, I know I'm probably a little bit all over the place here, but that's because I haven't done too much thinking about this. So let's pull in all of this, and let's pull in our instructions. Now, at the back of the guide here, it actually tells you where everything's going to go. Oh, ouch. That would have hurt. You've done scrapbooking, Lorraine. You have to share with us one day your pages. Yeah, I hope Aaron never does any more than just his ankle. Anyway, that's we're not going to worry about that one at the moment. Let's get started on this. So there, look, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't read anything. I will go by the pictures, and I will go by what they're telling me here. And they actually give you measurements of where everything is laid. Okay, so they're sort of saying, I'm just having a quick look. I mean, the first piece would be A1 that's going to go down, which is the secret C piece, and it's telling me it needs to be 3 1/4 inches in from the right-hand side. So let's start with that. And I'm just going to work on one page at a time because I can't fit 2 pages into my screen here. So we need 1A. So that's this part here, and I'm going to remove this one. Let's just have a look and see if these papers are exactly the same. Yes, they are. So do I want them going both in the same direction? What direction? They've actually got them like that. And the second one, because I'm looking at this corner up here, there's a blob there, which is only in that corner. When it comes to the second page, they've got that blob down here. So they have actually done one page with that blob at the top and one page with that blob at the bottom. It's up to you to how much, whether you want to be that finicky, but I'm going to be. So let's pop that there. I need my 1A, which is going to go on here, and it's going to go right from the bottom. So I have got a T ruler here. So we've got 1A. I don't need that anymore. Let's pop that out of the road. And what did I say? 3 1/4 inches. So that is pretty much 3 1/4. So I would say it's probably going to be 3 1/4 from either side. Yep, so that's in the middle. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to position this where I want it to go. And that's 3 1/4 at the top, and that's 3 1/4 at the bottom. And the way I do that is I position that, then I'm going to lift this up gently here, and I'm going to pop a little bit of adhesive across the top there and adhere that down. And then I'm going to do the same at my bottom here. I'm going to run a piece there and a piece there. You just got to make sure that you're going to be within that area of, so you don't want to run your adhesive going past that. You want to keep it within that area, and that's all glued down. It is sort of loose in there, but that's okay. That will stay, and it will go into a page protector. Okay, the next piece that we need to pop down is they've got a strip of, now this is interesting. This is where we can trim things down so we can get a little bit more out of our paper. Okay, so we've got that on there. Then they have taken a strip of this and gone across, and then on top of that, now that's our pretty peacock, and then on top of that we're taking the 1J Now that one there is supposed to be 1B. It doesn't really, that's a one eye going across, and then this one's going across. Now those two are layered there. So what you can do is you can adhere those two like that if you wish, just layering one on top of the other. If you're wanting to reduce the amount of weight you have in your page, you could actually cut these down, okay? Photos are going to go and sit down on top of these, but I think for what we're doing today, we're going to pretty much follow what they did. So if you've watched some of the videos by other scrapbookers, they may cut a little strip or a small 1/4 inch strip, which then they adhere top and bottom either side of this piece. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that piece off, and I don't need much that post-it notes anymore, and I'm going to adhere and put a bit of adhesive on each corner. And a little bit in the middle. And I'm going to layer this, and I'm just eyeballing this right down through the centre. Just like that. Now, it's up to you whether you want to have that going that way with the bulk of the colour there, or turn it around and go the other way. Now, at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually grab my other one and bring that in and put the other piece. Repeat the same process with my Secret C. And we're going to pop this one in here at that. We're just going to double check because I'm pretty sure it's going to be exactly the same. That piece is going in, yep, 3 1/4. So we've got one page here, one page here. So I'm going to line this all up. At 3 1/4. I've been wanting to do this layout for so long, but just haven't had a chance to do it. And I used to do this sort of thing all the time when my boys were little. Who else has found that when their boys have grown up, you don't? Now, the only thing I haven't had a look at, and I may have got myself into a bit of trouble here, which means I may have to go and grab myself another piece of Secret C. No, I've done it. That's okay. I've just realised there's 2 different sides to our Secret C. You've got a light side and a dark side because it's 2-tone. So make sure, hello Sharon, make sure you've got these pieces adhered on the colour you want, whether you want the lighter or the darker. Luckily, I've put them up the same way. Hey, I can't, bloopers. That's me. I'm doing bloopers today. So let's just pop this one on. Now it's going to tell us on here our distance between the top of our pretty peacock and the top of our page is 3 inches. So again, I'm going to pop a little bit of adhesive on this. Don't want to put too much because if you only put a small amount, it's easier to lift it if you haven't got it quite where you want it. And I'm just going to, like that one, remove this one for the time being. So then let's have a look. We want to, I'm going to turn this around so it makes it easier to see. So there's my top of my page. I'm just going to pop that onto there, and I want this piece here to come down 3 inches. Probably would make it a lot easier if I used the grid on my, that's right there on my glass mat, and that's 3 inches at the other side as well. Once you're happy, just press that down. So now we're going to repeat the same on our other page. So let's bring this one in, pop that one to one side, and we're going to grab these 2 pieces. Now again, I've got to make sure that I've got, as you can see here, you've got a dark side and you've got a light side. I'm using the dark side of this one because I've used the dark side on my other one, and I thought I'd better check that rather than getting that wrong. And we're going to adhere these 2 pieces together. Again, leaving a 1/4 inch border top and bottom, and lining that up. And hopefully, if I've got those right, those 2 will butt together. Yep, they will butt together nicely and flow right across the page. Now, I'm also going to have, I've got this dark piece here, I'm going to have the dark piece on my other side, so that page is going to flow right across. And I wish I could lift my camera up higher. I wonder if actually you might see my, here we go, you're going to see my untidy desk. Get rid of my phone and then you don't have to watch that. At least it's cleaner than what it normally is. I usually work in a big mess. Okay, I don't know whether, how's that? Does that make that much easier for you guys to see? I might even get rid of, oops, not what I wanted. Hide that for the moment. There we go. Just me you have to contend with now. If we move this across this way a little bit more, how's that? That way you can see now better what I'm doing on one page. So again, I'm going to turn this around just so then I can measure this easily from this side. And I'm going to measure 3 inches, but I'll need to put a little bit of adhesive on here. Beauty of doing these workshops is that all the thinking process has been done for you. So you really don't need to overthink your page design and your page layout. All you really need to do is concentrate on photos that you're using. I know with myself, and it usually takes me quite a while to work out exactly what I'm going to do. So having sometimes kits like this is quite good. Mind you, I do enjoy the working out, but I can actually get really hung up on where everything is going to go. But this one here, I really like this layout. So as you can see now, that was all going to flow right across there nicely. Hello, Lynette. How are you? It's great to have you on here. Okay, so there we go. So there's the basis of our layout. Now we're going to make this all look pretty. So again, going back to our instructions here, they're telling us we need our 3 photos. Now that's what I've yet to work out that I'm going to be using. Which 3 photos? Matted some of them. So let's have a look at what we've got here and let's see what we're planning to do. So we need 3 photos, which is going to go across. Now this photo here is facing that way, so I'm not going to position it there, because if I position that there, he's writing off the page and I want him to stay on the page. So we could possibly put that one over there. But where's that really big photo? Now, what I'm going to do is, let me just move all this out of the road. We've got this here. Now, that going by our picture is going to go somewhere like so, hanging off. And it's got this decorative point at the bottom. So the reason why I made this photo bigger is I don't necessarily want all this journaling. There is another journaling area over here, and I wanted to fit in another photo, but I don't have a sixth one of these. If we have a look at all of these, they've actually created for us these pieces which are to go below each photo. So what they've done is they've got, there's another couple ones. Let me just grab the others. So this one here is full colour, so that one there is to go there. This one here is to go, let me just grab them all. So that one is one more. That one, just having a look at what they've got on here, because it does look like there is one that is a little bit different, but these aren't different. Oh, look, there we are. That's what I'm looking for, because these ones here have to go onto the bottoms of those. Okay. So, what they have done on this one over here, they have placed a photo. I'm popping that one there for the moment, but it's not going to stay there. And then there is going to be one of those underneath. Then there is another photo to go there, and that one there is to go underneath. Then we have this one here, which again is going to have that one and that underneath. Then going by the picture here and this one here is again that, and then this one is in, whoops, that one's going to go there and that one is going to go there. So they've got, actually, if we look at our original photo, they've got those two next to each other. Yeah, that's sort of, that works out. Okay, so that's what we're sort of going to be looking at. So I need to actually adhere these onto there, and these are going to slip up underneath the photo. So each photo is going to slip on. So I'm going to put that one there. Now the one that corresponds with that one is this photo. So that's going to go there, and all of these need to be all lined up like so. So we need to make sure that we've got these pieces all lined up in a row, and then these photos are going to sit on top. But the photos are also lined up across the top there as well. So then we're going to have that one there like that. This one here. So that actually just sits below it. So it's actually not, it's just sitting below. So if we're going to pop that photo onto there, those two there, because they're the same day, we could put this one here, and I've also got these ones, because with all of these photos, he's got his head, he's got his helmet on, but this one here he hasn't. So I quite like that, but he's facing in that way. So this one here can't go there. We could actually pop that one there. That one, this one here, he's sort of facing again this way. So that one could go there. And then I'm thinking that one might be going to there and this one going to there. Now those 3 photos are actually all on the same day. He's wearing the same jacket on each one. Let's have a look what other photos I've got here, because these were my other ones that I was looking at. Because originally I was thinking of popping that one there, and we could actually do some flip-flaps on this. Because what we could do is this one here goes with that one. If I did flip-flaps, I've only got 1 photo or 2 photos. I've got that one. And then this photo here goes with this one. So we've got flip-flap. I could put flip-flaps there. I might be able to find some more photos and put more photos on this as yet. And then this one here goes with the drag race one, which is over there as well. So it means at the moment all my flip-flaps are on one page if I get my flip-flaps out. I don't need those. So those 2 there have to stay there, because we don't want that journaling. What we've got to go over on this page over here is they're suggesting to put a journal spot. I didn't see a journal spot come out, so maybe I've got to find that. So can we move these about a bit maybe? Let's have a bit of a look. That's going to go onto there. I could actually then leave that as my journaling spot, leave that there. I could put, like, remove that one, put my journaling back onto there. If anyone has ideas, please let me know, because we've got to move all of these around if we have to. Got 2 photos there, so we could easily bring I think I want that one. Those can go there. Two photos there, 2 photos there. That is the same day as that one. Those definitely have to go there. Time-wise, this one here, that is going that way, but now I'm left with one there. That could go there. That one was more recent. Okay, the way I've got this at the moment, I can do a flip-flap there, flip-flap there, flip-flap, flip-flap. Okay, well, that might be a plan. So I need to find my flip-flaps. Or what I might do is remove all these top ones for the moment. That one's going to stay. That one's going to stay. And let's just lay all of those down. Okay. I'm going to carefully move that across. You're really getting to see my thinking, how I think here, because I'm sort of thinking aloud, which is what I normally would do anyway. Now, they're suggesting that each one of these photos be 7/8 of an inch apart. And again, same with the one photo, so 7/8 from the outside and then 1/4 of an inch in. So let's see if we can do that. So I'm starting from this one here. I'm not adhering these down. So this photo here, and I think normally when I do my flip-flaps, I like to actually attach them into this. So I'm going to only put adhesive on the bottom. Okay, So I do want to only just put a little bit of adhesive on the bottom, because I like to put my flip flaps and set them in underneath. And I'm going to just, when I say 7/8, so that is about there. And how far from the top? They're saying 3/8 from the top up there. So if I'm going in here 7/8, and I'm going to just eyeball it, I think that's going to go there. I'm going to leave my T-ruler there. I'm going to put some adhesive on here. Whoops. Oh, I just did it on the right end. I'm only going to put it down here. I could put some adhesive, slip some adhesive into underneath there later. And they say just 1/4 of an inch between those photos. So that's going to go about there like that. And then this one here should come in 1/4 of an inch as well, which should give us about 7/8. Yes, so that'll give us a 7/8 gap there. So I'm going to pop that onto there. So again, just lining all this up, and I'm going to slip this in, and I want to go 1/4 of an inch, and I'm just eyeballing it across the top there. Now, if I wanted to, if I'm looking at these photos, if I put that one there, I could still do that, because what we were saying is that one there is going to have a flip flap on it. That would be 2. That would get rid of that flip flap. We've still got a flip flap, so there'd be 1 flip flap on each page. You know what? I could still do that. We will think about it. Okay. So that is those there. And then these pieces here are going to get attached directly underneath that. So let's adhere this one here together. Whoops, I need to just move that across a little bit more. Trying to keep that equal all the way around. Now, if I wanted to, I could just slip that in underneath just that little bit. So what we're going to do is, because we've got this one here to give us a guide, I'm lining up my ruler with the bottom point of this one, and I want all these points to be the same. So I'm just going to pop a bit of adhesive there, using that as my guide. I'm going to just slip that underneath my photo. And just tucking that in just like so. And then let's do the same one. So it's not actually sitting flush with that. It is actually going to go underneath it a little bit. And in a lot of these things, it's your interpretation as well. So, you know, don't be afraid of changing things up, moving things around. If something doesn't fit, I mean, at one stage I was thinking of making this border a lot bigger and using 4x4 photos, but then if you use 3 4x4s going across the page, then they're almost going to all just butt up together. So that's going to go like that. Looking good so far. So let's bring in this one. Now just remember, all these products you can purchase from me. If you don't have a demonstrator, you live here in Australia, you can purchase all of these through Michele Jutrisa .stampingup.net, and that will take you to my shop. Now, one thing we do need to do is adhere all these down. because we had done the other ones. Now at there, oh, I'm just thinking here, I've got him going that way. Now there is going to be a flip flap on top of that one. Am I going to worry about that, or do we need that photo? Because that is actually on a different day. He's got different clothes. I think it's at the same activity. Might even just take that one completely out. Because they aren't all at the same thing. So let's just move that out of the road for the moment. Bring this one back in. And we want to go... Again, I'm only just going to put it at the bottom. And I want to line that up and pop this in 3/8, and I just need to make sure there's my 7/8 there. Now, is that going to line up with that one at the top? This is sometimes where it comes in handy to have a few rulers. So that is just over 1/4 inch. And I've got this just over 1/4 inch. So that should work quite well. So that one. So we've got that one there. Now we need to leave 1/4 inch. Pop the next one down. Now this one here we still need to mat. So I need to cut myself, and I've got some willow white handy here. Let me just grab my scrap. Just quickly just move this out of the road, and let's cut ourselves another 3 1/4. So we've got 3 1/4 down. And we'll go 3 1/4 across. While I'm doing this, and I need a couple of extra mats for those other ones, we'll cut them so we've got them all ready to go. I don't do many lives showing scrapbooking because I can sort of and ah and walk away and come back. But that's okay to do all of that. You know, sometimes you do need to start a page and then walk away. I mean, I have walked away from a page for about a week in the past while I've sort of undenied whether I've got it the way I want it to look. But that was a fairly complicated page, but sometimes you do need to do it. So especially if you're sort of designing your own idea and your own page, so don't be afraid of, or don't think you have to sit down and do this all in one hit like I'm doing today. And I'm sure Sharon would agree with me on that one, that sometimes you do need to put it to one side. Now I'm just sort of looking at this and I'm thinking, is that really square? That's 7/8. That's 7/8. I just want to move that just that little bit more. It's just not quite square. There we go. So that's going to go in there. Now I need to make sure that my first one of these going to be lined up with those, because again I want these all to be at the same level right across. Once I've got the first one right, it should be then a lot easier to get the next ones all the same. So this one here, I'm just going to slip it underneath that photo, and that looks about right there. So now I've got that one right, we can move this across and pop which one on next. This one has to go next there. Now you will have noticed also too on my Facebook page and on my blog, you will see a yellow cup of coffee. And what that means is that if you like what I do and what I create, because all this content is for free and it is all over on my YouTube channel as well, that if you really like what I'm doing here and you want to help me to keep going with what I'm doing and what I'm showing you, then I'd really appreciate it if you would buy me a cup of coffee. So it's just a way to help each other out, just to keep things rolling, because as you can understand that, you know, it's not always cheap purchasing all these products to be able to show you each week what it's all about. I mean, yes, I get a little bit of a discount from Stamping Up, but it's just sometimes it's, you know, I'm very reliant on my alterations business to support what I do here. I don't make a huge amount of money on Stamping Up. I do this for love. I do it because I enjoy creating and I enjoy sharing what I'm doing. So it does help me that if you feel that you can, it's not something you have to do, but if you can, you know, buy me a cup of coffee, and that just goes towards my me of keep buying new product and keep sharing product. And I think, you know, a cup of coffee, $7. Also too, I have tutorials on my blog and they're all free. So if you really like my tutorials and you know, you can download them at any time for yourself to use. But if you feel that you can afford it, please buy me a cup of coffee. Again, it just helps me out. Now I'm just having a look at my layout here, and I've got our title here for our page, and it's living in the moment, and that's why I really like these photos, because I really think that Aaron's really living in the moment with this. So that's going to go just tucked in underneath there like so. So there's no at the moment, what we're doing now is we're just gluing everything down flat. There's no dimensionals or anything holding this down. So let's glue this on to here, and we're just going to pop that underneath that designer series paper, just eyeballing it to make sure everything's all lined up. And so it just slips underneath this piece of designer series paper here, the Pretty Peacock one, but the Pretty Peacock cardstock is underneath it. So it's just slipping in the two like that. So far I'm quite happy with this layout. So now we're really up to the fun part of decorating. Now I have seen here that they've got a little piece here to add some journaling on. Now I don't know, I didn't find that in here. So let's have a quick look in my bag of bits and pieces and see if I missed out in the die cuts, whether there's a journaling piece there or not. Because we could cut a piece out of Willow White, and as I said before, on the backs of these they actually tell you what project they're for. So I can't see any project ones there. And there's none there. So So far we don't need anything from there. But let's just have another quick look at our, because I don't read anything. 1G, let's have a look there. Possibly I should have cut myself another piece of cardstock. So let's have a look, and I've missed it. Yes, there is one piece of 1G at 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. So let's have a look whether I've got a piece of basic white here, which is going to end up being 2 3/4 at 2 3/4. Let's have a look, see what we've got. So I've got one here, which is, so we need 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. There's not enough on that piece, but I can make, I need those for there. Don't want to use that. Let's just grab another piece of willow white. And we're going to pop this out of the road. So 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. So this is the piece I'm going to be using for that journaling. So they're sort of telling us that that piece there is going to sit just underneath there as such. And it's 1.78 from the bottom and 1 1/4 in from the side. So it's a lot easier using my, so it's going to go 1 1/4. And to me, I'm not going to pop it there. I'm actually going to move it across a little bit more because it's not quite centre. And 1 7/8 from the bottom. So 1 7/8 is, you know what, I'm going to leave it at about that, in that position there. I think I'm just going to eyeball this one. So let's just pop that there. Let's have a look at the rest of our bits and pieces that they're saying needs to go on. So we've got all of these pieces here. So what they're saying goes here is, there's 2 of these. They're 2 different lengths. So I think this one here is going to go, they are recommending. Now I was going to put, no, we've decided not to put a flip flap on that, because what we've got to be very careful of, if we are going to put flip flaps on here, we don't want any embellishments to interfere with that flip flap. So they're suggesting that that goes across there, which goes onto this one here. Now, if I did a flip flap on top of that one, which I was looking at doing, I don't think I did have a flip flap on that one, which would work out well, because those 2 are the same. So there'd be no flip flap on that one. That was the only one I was thinking of putting a flip flap on, which is going to be there and covering that up, so you couldn't do that anyway. So we're not going to worry about a flip flap for that one, but that's going to go onto there. Then there is, I must have one piece missing. No, there's stickers, that's why. Let's have a look. What stickers have they used? They've used this one up here, and I'm just going to cut this out. Thanks, Lorraine. Yeah, it's good to get back into scrapbooking. I'm trying to get back into it, and that's why I thought I'd do this today. But thank you for joining us. So that one's going to go there with that over the top of that. And then we have two stickers. One says, two word stickers. One that says no boundaries and no limits. So we've got then no boundaries and no limits on that. So I'm just going to have a quick look at this. They've got a piece of two stickers from the bottom here. So let's just build this up, because I'm not going to put any flip flaps on here. So we're going to pop some adhesive on the back here. Pop that down, and that's going to go there like so. They've then taken these two stickers. So there's this sticker here, and does it tell me how long that sticker needs to be? Here, long balmy blue die cut piece over. Just says embellish with the stickers. Okay, so that piece there is about 4 inches, and they have gone probably to about 4, about 4.5. So I'm going to just measure that and then cut this at about 4.5. So I'm just having a quick look here, and they've overlapped that sticker that's gone from right to the edge, right across there like that. Actually, they've probably gone a little bit further. Probably should have cut that another. I'm going to actually just pop another bit in here, because I think that needs to be that little bit longer. And I'm just going to butt those two stickers up together, and you're not going to tell. There we go. I've just joined those two together. So then they've taken this sticker here, and this one here is going to go pretty much that one. They've gone almost a full 5.5. And I've got this one here at 5.25. I'm just going to cut a little bit off that piece that I've just added, and you'll see why in a minute. Just cut a little bit off there. Because this one here is just going to go that little bit past it, 5.25. And this one is going to sit Right, I'm just overlapping that, just that little bit. And it's going to go to there. But I'm going to cut that at an angle because I don't like that straight. And I'm going to follow the same angle as the pattern paper, just like that. So this one here is dovetailed, and then this one here I've just cut at an angle just to give me a little bit of difference with that one. Then that's this sticker here. Now you could pop these up if you wanted to on dimensionals, but I'm keeping it all fairly flat. I don't like to have too many dimensionals. And a scrapbook page, and then we've got no boundaries, no limits. So that one is going to go there, and no limits is this little one up here. Now that's the piece that's going to go underneath. Just going to move this sticker up a little bit. Fortunately, losing those mountains, although I might. But I'm going to move it back down because I really do like. I'm just going to overlap that. I want to cover up everything. And then this one here is for my journaling. That's going to go there like that. So that is, theoretically, that is that page finished. So how does that one look? It's actually looking a lot better than what I was thinking it could end up looking, because I was a bit concerned about how this is all going to fit together. Now, this is where we were going to swap out, because I don't want to put, I am going to put this photo onto here because I don't need to put more journaling, because this is not my activity, it was my son's activity and I wasn't there for that. So that's going to go in there like that. It's almost the same photo as that one. Almost. So we could actually swap that one out for that one, which I might just do, since I only just adhered that on the bottom. I can easily do that. I'm going to take that one out. So this one here is going to be a little bit different. Whoops. Sorry, I'm just trying to find. This will do. That's better. I mean, that's a great photo, but it's just almost exactly the same. So we really don't need that one. And then we can just pop that one in there. I've just got a funny feeling I lost a piece there. I've got that one, that one. So we need our stickers again. Peel this one off, and this one here is going to go. So we need to put this on first. Our little die cut banner piece, and that is going to go underneath this point So it's going to slip underneath this, and just sort of having a look what they've done there, and I think that's pretty much what they've got there. Then this piece here is going to go so this is what's left over of, whoops, it's got to go right to the edge. We want to start it right on this edge here. Take that across there. And this one here is going to come again across the bottom of this. Again from the edge. And I'm just going to cut this one again following the line of that. I'm going to cut that at an angle there, because I did the same on the other one, and that's going to go there like that. Now there was another mountain piece, and I did see that go flying. I have lost a piece. That's okay, we're just going to use that one. Should have been some darker mountains, and I don't know where it went. Let me just lift this up and make sure it hasn't, yep, there it is, underneath my glass mat. It's amazing what I find underneath that glass mat. And this one here, we're just going to pop a little bit of adhesive along the bottom. And that's going to fit together like so, and that's going to go about there. Bring that down to about there. Then we're going to put our second title, our subtitle. Scenic route is going to go just about to that spot there like that. And then we need that sticker. And they've popped that sticker on there, and we've got two more stickers to pop down, and we've got Enjoy the Ride, which I think is really good for this, and the other one they've got is Unstoppable, which is so true for Aaron. Now, whether they've and Enjoy the Ride, which is how appropriate is that? Okay, so I believe that is all done. So there's our 2 pages. So let me bring in the first page. I still get to do my journaling. I'm still going to make up some I'll do a flip flap, I think, on that particular photo there. I might see if I can find another photo, but of course that then, well, this one has to be matted. Let's see, here's our mats here. If I can find another photo to go on there. Whoops. So I can add another 2 photos to this layout. So I've got one to go there, and I can get another one and pop underneath that one. So that'll be the flip flap there. Now there was something else on one of those. Okay, there is another little sticker. It is a green one. And I can't read what they've put, what is written on that. There's actually another 2 green ones. So it's possibly things to note, which I don't think works for this. I might let, it's for the record, I think. And I'm going to leave those off because it's supposed to be one on here, and I might see if I can find something to stamp on there, because for the record, I don't know whether that's going to really suit. But anyway, that one's going to have a flip flap there, and I will have to print off another photo to go underneath there. But I'm actually really liking that. So I hope you've enjoyed watching me create this page. It's been a little while since I've done any scrapbooking. So there's page 1, and then we have page 2 there. But I'm really pleased with that, because I think those colours actually work really well. And they were, all these photos were taken sort of out in the bush on some of our main roads. If anyone knows Bald Hill, which is between Wollongong and Newcastle, that's where these 2 photos were taken. These 2 I'm not quite sure. This one here was down in Victoria, and this one here is at Sydney Drags. So yeah, I am very happy. Just got to work out what I'm going to stamp on there. So thank you very much for bearing with me today. It's not much. I mean, you know, I'm doing it live. I'm not doing it like some of the others do it, where they pre-film it and then trim it all down and everything for you. This is as it goes, and I'm thinking, and I'm not very quick at thinking while I'm working as well. But anyway, we got there. So as I said before, please remember, I think it's tomorrow, 20% off scrapbooking, selected scrapbooking items. That's for 24 hours only. So jump on, have a look and see if there's anything you want. What else is there? What did I say? What have we got coming up? New catalogue starts on the 5th. So keep your eye open for that. Also, too, there's the new joining that they've got at the moment. So you can join and get all the ink colours, the 5 ink colours. So if you're not a demonstrator and you want to join up under me, I'd love it if you considered it. You've got the choice of getting the 5 ink colours for free to be part of your initial kit when you join up. Or if you don't want the ink colours, then I think it's another $60 that you can spend on your kit. So that's really great joining fee if you want that. Please remember that if you do like any of my cards and anything, I do have tutorials for most of my cards on my blog. There are just some that I haven't done tutorials for, some, but the ones that I have. If you do want a tutorial, you're quite welcome to download them and use them. I'm just asking that if you can feel that you can buy me a cup of coffee, that would be great. If you love my video, please buy me a cup of coffee. You'll find links to buy me a cup of coffee on my blog, on my Facebook page, on top of my YouTube channel, up in the info, in the bio. But don't feel like you have to do it. It's just something that I'm trying out and just see if I can just generate a bit of this, because at the moment, as I said before, I rely very heavily on my alterations business to pay for me to do this, because I don't earn much money through Stamping Up with selling a product. So if you can help me out, that would be great. But anyway, I've had fun. I hope you've had fun. And unfortunately, I won't be here next Friday. I do have a funeral to attend. So, unfortunately, I won't be here for that for next week. But I will be here the week after that, all going well. So take care. Have a lovely, lovely weekend. Thank you, Leslie. And take care, everybody, and enjoy. And I hope you get to do some scrapbooking over the weekend, since we are heading into the National Scrapbook Day, I think, which is tomorrow. Okay then. Bye for now.